Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with All Things Barbecue, and today we're going to be smoking up some brisket for a pulled brisket sandwich. Now most of the time around here at All Things Barbecue, we're cooking up big 15-pound packer briskets, usually prime from Creekstone Farms, but I know that that's not really accessible for everyone. So what I want to do today is just show you what can you do with what you can get at your local grocery store. So what we have here, I just pulled out of the cold case at the grocery store. It's a 3-pound hunk of brisket. We'll open this up. They didn't even separate the point meat from the flat meat, so we've got a little bit of both, which is actually great. It's gonna give us a little bit more fat content in the end. And you know, they've actually trimmed this thing up really nicely. I'm just gonna make maybe a few little adjustments, take some of that gray meat off the edge. And I actually like that there's a little bit of fat on top of here, but I'm just going to give it some score marks so that I can get some rub through that fat. So as far as the seasoning goes today, we're going to keep it pretty simple. We're not going to inject it. We're just going to give it a nice rub with our favorite beef rub and then get it on the smoker. Before I get my rub on there, I just need a little bit of binder. You can use whatever you like for this, oil, vinegar, mustard. We got a little bit of steak sauce today. It's not going to affect the flavor a lot in the end, so not terribly important what you use to bind. And that thin layer of liquid is just going to help the rub really stick to the meat. All right, so we're seasoning today with Plowboy's Bovine Bold. This is a fantastic beef rub. Love it on brisket. This is really the go-to around here. You guys use your favorite beef rub, whatever you like. Definitely recommend this one though. Gonna get that down in all those crevices. All right, we've got this covered really nicely. Let's just give it a few minutes to let that rub really attach. Once we see some moisture pockets, we'll know it's ready to go on the smoker. All right, you guys know I love my Yoder smokers. We love cooking on those pellet grills, but we're gonna have a little fun today. We're gonna be cooking on the Kamado Joe, the classic Joe 2. It's a really cool cooker. Cooking with charcoal, gonna have some wood chunks. So I'm gonna show you how we have this thing set up. We've got the grill preheated to 275 degrees with lump charcoal in there. And to add the smoke flavor, we're actually gonna use some wood chunks today. This is our Cattleman's Grill peach wood chunks. Like I said, we're mixing it up. This is gonna give it a little bit different flavor profile. It's also going to give it a little bit of a lighter smoke flavor. All right, you can see that it's already starting to produce some smoke. We're not soaking these or anything. These are nice, good fist-sized chunks, so they're just gonna smolder away, put off some good smoke. On top of that, we'll put our deflector plates to give us nice indirect heat. And we're gonna place the grates up high so we don't get too much radiant heat off of that plate below it. All right, we're gonna place this on here, fat side down. Close it up. And I know there's a little bit of debate about this. Fat side up, fat side down, which way do you do it? So here are the facts. The fat on the outside is not the fat that bastes the meat. That's the intramuscular fat that's inside the meat. So that fat is just gonna drip off, which is fine. It's going to baste the meat if you put it on the top. Not really. It's gonna drip down, it'll flare back up, add some flavor. So typically what we do is we place it fat side down. That way the fat's a little bit closer to that deflector plate. When the fat hits the deflector plate, comes back up in the form of flavor, just a little bit of steam and smoke. And then you also have a thermal barrier in between the deflector plate and the meat so that you never have to worry about scorching the meat itself. All right, so we're just gonna let this smoke now. As this pit comes back up to temperature and the airflow corrects itself after the lid being open, the smoke's gonna thin out a bit and give us a really beautiful smoke flavor, and we'll be back to wrap it here in just a few hours. So we're about 3.5 hours into our smoke on this brisket, and I really like where the color's at right now. So we're gonna go ahead and stop the coloration process by wrapping it in foil. I'm not going to add anything to this today. We'll just allow this to braise in its own juices from here on out. We get this thing wrapped just as tight as possible so we don't lose that really beautiful bark that we've spent these 3.5 hours building. Now we can get this back on the cooker and we'll let this continue to cook until it's nice and shreddable. You'll notice that we didn't bother sticking a thermometer into the meat at this point because it just doesn't matter. What we're cooking to is a color at this point. We want to stop the color at the perfect spot, and that's where we foil. It doesn't matter what the temperature is on the inside right now. We'll check that a little bit later, but again, this is mostly going to be to feel. So temperatures can only give you guidelines. You need to kind of practice, test the waters, and you'll get to know your meat better that way. Well, it's been about 5.5 hours total now. I want to show you guys where our brisket's at because it's almost ready to shred. I'm going to open this guy up for you. Woo! Nice and tender. So you can see we're about 210 degrees right in the center of there. So this thing should be about ready to come apart. Now there's still a little resistance there, so I think I might wrap this up. Just give it another 15 minutes or so and I bet we'll be good. Yeah, this is pulling apart really easy now, which is fantastic. And you know, in addition to actually just pulling this, I'm going to give it a little chop. So we break down these long strands a little bit, make them a little shorter, and that'll make it even more tender. All right, let's see how this tastes. Great smoky flavor. Nice and tender, still juicy. That's going to be fantastic on that sandwich. So what I want to do now is hit it with a little bit of our Plowboys Casey Crossroads sauce. Not too much, but we're going to toss it around in this a little bit. This is a really fantastic sauce for beef. It's not too sweet, which is good. We don't want that when we're eating beef. We don't want to put a whole bunch of sugar on there. So this is a nice tomatoey sauce that's great for brisket. And it's just soaking up all of that moisture that was in that packet. I mean, just look at that glisten. That's really nice. Now that the brisket's done, I want to finish off this sandwich with a couple of extra items. We've got a scratch-made aioli that has roasted garlic as well as some jalapeno mustard in it. And we've also got a really simple pickled red onion. I'm going to put these on our butter toasted bun to build the sandwich. We'll spread our aioli on the bottom bun, which is going to add just a little bit of extra fat. And of course, that really beautiful roasted garlic and jalapeno mustard flavor. We get a nice pile of our pulled brisket on there. And then we'll top this off with just a little bit of this pickled red onion. When you're building a sandwich like this, it's all about flavor. So having something that can cut through the nice fatty flavor of this, like the pickled red onion, is a really beautiful thing. I'm going to slice into this and see how we did. That's fantastic. Right off the bat, oh, I just love the contrast between the pickled red onions and the fattiness of the brisket, the aioli, the sweetness out of that sauce. It all balances perfectly. And it's got all the texture that you would want out of a sandwich. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to thesauce.atbbq.com. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.